Hi, I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noelle Crosby, and we're the Sound Sisters, and this is the Hearing Diaries. And today we're going to talk about boundaries and saying
Boundaries, we need
no.
them.
Boundaries. I didn't even know there was such a thing until I was older.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let's just talk about each of our relationship with boundaries. Like,
hmm
what do you think when you hear that word? And
I think I've learned a lot when I hear that word. I have gotten so much better. I think, I don't know if it comes with maturity, with age, if it just comes with knowing yourself and what you can offer. But I think I've gotten better at knowing when I'm strung too thin and when I know what I'm passionate about, I know who I want to be. Maybe that's what it is. I think I'm a little
yeah,
clearer on who I want to be and what is most important to me. And if it doesn't serve my personal life, my child, my marriage, or my business,
yeah.
I don't have the capability to do all things and do them well. So, yeah, it's kind of what
So
I've
I would
learned. What
say
have you
that
learned?
I feel like what you're saying is that you have a pretty good relationship with boundaries.
Yes, I've gotten
Yeah, I
there.
feel
I
like
have
that.
not always.
Yeah, no, I did, like I was saying, I didn't even know what a boundary was for
Yeah,
many, many years of my
yeah,
life. And I feel like I always would think saying no or having a boundary would mean I'm being selfish
yeah.
and I'm not taking in other people into account, I guess. And it made me think a lot about what is being selfish? Like, aren't you
hmm
really supposed to take care of yourself, and
hmm
you're on this earth to live your life? And so, and then how do you get around when other people have a different relationship with the boundary?
hmm hmm
People don't have boundaries and don't expect you to and get
hmm
mad at you. So
Yeah.
we're going back to our other video we did about don't take anything personally. Like,
Yes.
you have to understand your own boundaries, and you have to understand that other people may not have the same ones you have,
hmm
and accept that that's just, how it's going to be. So yeah, I think it's an ongoing thing. And I
hmm
think that I don't think they teach us this in
Yeah.
school. I don't know that my parents really taught me, or even like we even
No.
discussed boundaries.
And it's
Yeah, so I'm
something so
wondering too.
interesting how you mentioned
Yeah.
parents because my dad was always involved in everything when I was growing up.
Mm,
He was a farmer. He had a meat shop, a butcher shop that he owned. He was on the school board. He was the Little League soccer president. He coached my high school soccer team. He was on the fair board. He did all these things. And so I think
right,
growing up, I saw that like he did all these things and he had all these friends and he was so well known that I thought that is what I want to be. Where on the other hand, my mom worked her 8 to 5 job. She's worked for the same company for 40 years. She's not involved in any clubs. She just kind of like hunkers down.
interesting.
So I think
Right.
in my mind, I thought, gosh, you're kind of lonely or you live such a quiet life. I want to be like dad. Now, the older I get, the more I see that like busy is not always sustainable. And when you're
Right.
busy, you can't always do things well that you care about.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I think about boundaries is kind of like I was saying about my dad, but I feel like when an opportunity presents itself, I don't want to miss out. And so I
Right.
feel like I view it as an opportunity to learn. I feel like I'm young and I'm kind of hungry in our profession to learn all the things and be this young trailblazer where it's
Right.
like, which is great to an extent if you can run your business, be involved in all these meetings, treat your patients well, be present at home when you log out of work. And I've definitely found circumstances where I felt like I'm not doing a good job at anything. And that's where
Right.
the word boundaries is like, you need to have
Yeah.
better boundaries.
Yeah, interesting. Because when I think about you in the world, the audiology world, I see you doing this and doing this and doing this. And like Lindsay's presenting this seminar, and then she's doing this other one. And then, I see you
Yeah.
popping up, doing that. And I'm like, that girl has more energy.
Yeah. And I've learned that there's other things, I've learned what I like to do, and then I've also found other things that you just don't have the time for all the time.
Right. Yeah. And I think also when, like, I know you could know that about my boundaries around my business because I've
Mm-hmm.
shared that with you and with others, where I knew when I bought this business that I wanted to run my business. I didn't want it to run me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've lived by those boundaries. And is it always been easy? No, because if somebody calls me and I think they want to purchase hearing aids, but I don't have anything on my schedule for a couple weeks and they're going to go elsewhere if I don't
Yes.
get them on my schedule. There has been times when I've said, okay, I want to kind of get outside of my boundaries in order to
Mm-hmm.
be able to serve that person. And the funny thing is, sometimes when that happens, that person doesn't even end up getting anything. Like
Yes.
they're just like, and I think I'm not going to
Yes.
do that again because it didn't
Yes.
serve me the way I
Yes.
thought
My
it was going
schedule.
to.
Schedule is such a hard boundary. That is probably
Yeah,
one of my biggest weaknesses. My staff would probably laugh if I say that I'm good at boundaries. Especially,
right,
going into the end of the year, I feel like
right.
all of these people deserve to be seen. And so put them over my lunch, put them in a 45-minute time slot. And
Ah,
it's like, then you get to the point that I get bitter because I'm
right,
strung so thin, feel like I can't think clear thoughts by the time 5 o'clock comes around. And it's like, that's not how I need to practice. And
right.
I don't need to feel obligated to go the extra mile for
Because they
people.
didn't take the time to,
Yes.
plan sooner. So you're the one that's doing the sacrifice, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think let's talk about saying no because this is something
Yes,
we briefly talked about. But let's talk about saying no to
yes.
opportunities, or how do you, when something presents itself and you feel like it's not right, how do you comfortably say no?
Yeah, I know that's tough. Like, I think it's also if it's personal or professional, right? I
Hmm.
know for my family, they would get mad at me because I would have strong boundaries with my family because my
Hmm.
family was kind of like where, like, there's no boundaries in my
Hmm.
family. And so I would say, no, I don't want to do that. And then they would, I'll get kind of mad at me and talk about me. But I had to do that for myself in a way too. Now, did I feel guilty sometimes because I said no and they made me feel guilty? And no one can make you feel guilty. Like you do
Hmm.
that to yourself. But I had that family nature and I was part of the family, so I kind of had to learn my boundaries. I didn't have them
Hmm.
back then either. So yeah, so I think personally, it's easier sometimes if somebody knows you to say no. And if you do it in a way where you're just like, if you say it in a way where you're not um, blaming anyone
Hmm.
or where you're just being honest with them, like, I
Hmm.
just don't have it in me or I just
Yes.
don't want to. And
Hmm.
again, you and I talked about the difference between I can't and I don't want to.
Hmm.
It's okay to not want to do something.
Yeah.
To say, no, I just don't want to do it. But a lot of people don't think that's okay,
Hmm.
depending on what
Hmm.
it is too.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I will say about that is because again, you and I are extroverts and we like to, I don't know if you like to like always be with your friends
Oh,
and
yeah.
going out and going to parties and
Oh,
like, so
yeah.
I'm always like, there's a party, Noelle's going to be there and I'm probably going to be the last one to leave.
Yeah.
But I never understood how somebody could have the opportunity to do something like that and not want to do it. Like,
Yes.
how can you stay home? There's this party here. Like, you're
Yes.
supposed to be going. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I would even get like a little mad at them, like, why aren't you going? And so I wasn't having good boundaries with the other person. And then I
Yes.
realized that not everyone gets energy
Yeah.
from being around other people. And it's taken me quite a few years to realize that. But I understand, yeah, that's not important to that person like it
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I
it's
feel
respecting
like,
others' boundaries too, I guess is what
yes,
I'm trying to
yes, I
say. Yeah.
like how you mentioned that, and recognizing that comes with maturity and age. I think recognizing what serves you doesn't serve someone else the same.
Right.
Yeah, and I've had to recognize that in staff and family relationships, and we're all so different, and what makes us tick and gives us energy, like you said. I feel like
Yes.
for me, when I think about saying no, something that has gotten better is I used to kind of tiptoe around the no because I felt
Ah,
bad. And so, Lindsay, do you want to join our board, or, whatever board or nonprofit organization or whatever it was? I would always tiptoe around it of like, oh, I'm really busy at work right now. Let me think on that and let me get back to you. Then for the next 2 weeks, I would be mulling over how I'm going to kindly say no because my husband's going to be very angry if I join one more club, you know? And so I've gotten so much better at if an opportunity presents itself to me and it's not something that kind of like catches me on fire right away or something that I've been anticipating and excited about, I just kind of squash it right there and just say, thank you so much for the opportunity. I do not have the capacity to participate to my fullest potential right now. Please keep me in mind should future opportunities arise. And I feel
Yay for
like
you.
I feel like, I've asked people to be a part of things that I'm leading before. And if you cannot give your full potential, you're just taking a spot of someone else who would actually have the capacity to do it. And so that's where I feel like I've kind of come around to being a little more
Yeah.
bold and upfront with my time and my own boundaries.
Yeah. And I think that also goes back to like always that one saying we talked about in our other video about the four agreements and always do
Yes.
your best. If you are going to do something because you don't want to, or you resent it, and you're
Yes.
not going to do your best at it, then it's not good for anyone
No.
to be for you to be there because you're not putting your your full self into it. So you're
Yes.
better off saying, no, I don't think that I would be able to serve you in the way that you
Yes.
need me
And
to
I
at
think
this
it's so
time.
much better to say no up front than to get 6, 7 months into it and regret or feel like it's not the right fit for your time. And then
Yeah,
you have this contractual obligation or whatever to stick with it. And
right.
so I've learned that if something doesn't set me on fire right up front, it's not worth my time
Yeah.
invested. But yeah.
There's a book called The Pumpkin Plan. I think
Oh,
I've
I've
talked
heard
about
of that. I've heard of that.
Mike. Oh, I want to say his name, but I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right. Mikhailovich. Anyway, it's about you're even like in your business and picking the patients that are right for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be able to serve everybody in a way that they want to be served. And you know what your patients, what kind of patient you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just being willing to say that person's not my pumpkin. So we end
Yeah.
up saying that a lot. Yeah, that person doesn't want to pay the $40 that I have to charge in order to, keep my doors open and do
Yeah.
the kind of testing I want to do.
Yeah.
That person's not my pumpkin. So
Yeah.
it's even having boundaries around being willing to say no to certain patients
Yes.
because they're saying no to you. So you
Yes.
have to be willing to say, no, that's not,
Yes.
that person isn't for me. They'll find somebody else for them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that's
love
that's
that.
a good book. If
You could say
anybody's
that to
looking for a book,
patients. You could say that to opportunities. Not my pumpkin. That is not my
exactly. Yep.
pumpkin. Does not serve me.
Right.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Noelle. Do you want to wrap us up for this segment?
I think we'll wrap it up. So I hope that helps you with your boundaries. We'd love to hear stories about maybe strategies you've used to help you keep your boundaries and
Yes.
learn how to say no. So feel free to reach out to us and let us know. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Thanks for joining us on the Sound Sisters. See you next time.
Bye.